mention that with this growth of creative industries, a whole specific group of younger talented people that would be self-organizing, that in earlier decades maybe would have fed into social movements, can now either have a place in cities or just move to other cities. So I know that a lot of the people that used to go to Amsterdam, making Amsterdam a really vibrant city, just now move to Barcelona or Berlin because that's now where you can go. Because and if they don't like Amsterdam, they're not going to protest or do anything about it. They just move somewhere else. So part of the sort of energy that you need for these movements is also dispersed because there's also a well of group that can just move somewhere else.
So that's the old
that
Hirschman.
might also be pulling some of the energy away from these movements.
So that's that whole Hirschman model of exit or voice. You know, if you can't exit, you tend to voice more. And so I think maybe more stuff. Maybe I think my more positive response would be to kind of look at more the role of social media as a more effective form of social movements now, and see some examples of that. I mean, all the sort of street demonstrations in the Arab Spring, a lot of it was driven, or various kind of political movements, much more driven by social media, I think, than anything else. Maybe we need to spend a bit more time looking at that in a bit more detail. And maybe the impact is, you'd have to look at it a bit more carefully, that it actually does have a bigger impact, but you just don't see it because there's not that same traditional social movements, people demonstrating or going to that kind of thing. But that's someone's going to be a bit more social media savvy than me to do that.
Well, we're out of time because this discussion, interesting discussion, can go on forever. So perhaps we draw an end here, and we have a last question.
Could you speak up or just
louder? Okay. Yes, we have the changing distribution of opportunities. Because we can see that the urban center is thriving and they have more opportunities. My question is very simple. Because the poor is marginalized, they are priced out into the suburban areas. How can they respond to that? Have they aware of their status? Can we design some careful policies to remedy their loss of opportunities?
In the employment sense, job training, whatever. But one of the things is, I think that if you looked at rising inequality, which you have is just the incredible inequality. There doesn't seem to be any sign of abating anywhere in the world. If anything, it's becoming more pronounced. It doesn't answer your question, but I think that the process is so strong, and you really need to. It has to be kind of treated very, very seriously. And I think at the moment it's never really quite, the inequality thing just hasn't quite got onto the political agenda in quite the same way that, say, social justice or racial equality did in the 60s or 70s. And I think, because I think in a sense, people, and I think it's kind of related to community, people experience it as a sort of like, so if you're poor and living in the suburbs and working, you don't experience it as a collective experience. You experience it as like a private kind of like burden. And so one of the things is, I think, we don't have it. So Marx said, there's classes, class formation has two elements. One is, classes are formed, but classes are also formed by themselves. Classes make themselves. And I'm not sure, I think the nature of suburban poverty has yet to crystallize a big social movement, in the sense that people don't, suburban, we're poor and we live in the suburbs. That's not really an argument that's kind of made, I think. So one of the issues is that, the worst political issues are the ones that never make it onto the agenda. And I don't think that's on anyone's agenda at the moment. Would be one. What could you do about it? I mean, I think the sense of like better public transport, but the usual things, better educational training, the argument that you need for national economies that you need every single person to be working. Otherwise, it's such a drag, right? You need every single person to be working hard and making money and doing well and whatever. And how do you maximize that? And you know, the US does an appallingly bad job of it. Hong Kong probably does a much better job. But that would be the thing: better education, better training, better access, a more equal start. The only things I think is that for the US, it's like they're politically difficult to get any redistributional policies. Right? Mm-hmm. People don't like to pay taxes. But one of the things that doesn't work is like everyone having the same start. You know, everyone having the same starting line. And so you could argue that people born into poverty have a much harder time. And so we're losing out. And so the suburban areas become funnels of failure, right, rather than platforms of success. So I think the thing is, how do you make the urban areas platforms for success for everyone? Easy to say. So, an ongoing project, I think.
Okay, we have to thank John for this wonderful talk. And, we have a